Well, it's going to sound a little bit like Bill and I haven't been in the same city experiencing the same reality, but I think maybe that can be reconciled as we...
It actually makes for a better panel when people differ.
So if the measure of your politics, if what makes you a progressive is a core, passionate concern for the most vulnerable and marginalized people in our society, who in the United States of America are poor people and overwhelmingly people of color, this has been an extraordinary 4 months. So, and this is not well appreciated, just to give you a sense of the dimensions of what has been accomplished in a very short period of time. There's been the largest public expenditure on anti-poverty programs, including on the very poorest people in this country, in 40 years in this country. So a major effort to repair the safety net through a substantial expansion of food stamps, of unemployment insurance, a repair to the unemployment insurance system so that the millions of workers who, when they lose their jobs, are not eligible to get coverage, can get coverage, a huge expansion in refundable tax credits, the earned income credit, the child credit, all of this adding up to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in literal income to someone making $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year, or $10,000 a year. That's an extraordinary achievement, particularly given that we've had a Democratic Party that has for decades in this country run as far and as fast away from poor people as possible. Now, this has not been an unqualified success. There have been areas where the administration has been very reluctant to go as far as they should. So, for example, in the case of the recovery package, there was reluctance from some of the economic team that Bill talked about to create requirements that poor people and people of color and women get, that there be requirements for their being hired as part of these large infrastructure projects being created all over the country. It has certainly been a stealthy agenda, meaning the administration has chosen not to lead with questions of poverty or racial justice. But for the most part, it's been a courageous one. So in the back rooms, in the negotiations where it comes down to what do you really care about, the administration has, for the most part, put their finger on the scale, on the side of the scale that's for poor people, which is an extraordinary contrast to what life was like under the Clinton administration. Now, all that being said, I think the sobering note that I'd offer is poor people would be better off if none of those policies were enacted into law and we didn't have this economic crisis. In other words, the severity of this is so dire, and unemployment will reach perhaps 20%, 21, 22% in African American communities, that the scale of the response that's going to be required, we have not even seen the beginning of to address that suffering. So it's a paradoxical situation, but boy, it is a new day in Washington.